right, to Los Angeles now, where President Donald Trump is expected to land in any minute on the second stop of his cross-country tour of disaster-hit areas today. Trump and his entourage will get a first-hand view of the damage from the wildfires that have left huge swaths of the county in ashes. Earlier, Trump and his team visited North Carolina to see the devastation that still scars that area after it was hit by last year's Hurricane Helene. And there he had some tough words for FEMA, which has come under criticism from Republicans as being incompetent and politicized. Trump didn't hold back about California either and what he wants to see happen in Los Angeles.
I want to see two things in Los Angeles: voter ID so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
All right, as we've been talking about, there were some big headlines out of Trump's trip, even just as it's halfway through already. For more, let's go to NewsNation's Washington correspondent Kellie Meyer, who's live at the White House. Kellie, President Trump is talking about getting rid of FEMA and leaving all disaster aid to the states. But only a handful of states in this country are actually equipped to handle big disasters.
Yeah, it's a good point, Elizabeth, and it's exactly why FEMA was created back by former President Jimmy Carter in 1979 to help the federal government respond to these disasters that were overwhelming state and local governments. But today, President Donald Trump said that FEMA was, quote, failing us, and he did this on his first presidential trip, going to North Carolina that was hit hard by Hurricane Helene, and then now making his way, as we're watching for, to California to visit Los Angeles that was hit by those wildfires. And while he was there, he said in North Carolina that he had hoped to visit sooner, and he criticized former President Joe Biden's response to Hurricane Helene. He said, quote, "Been a horrible thing the way it's been allowed to fester, and we're going to get it fixed up." He also promised that the federal government would surge housing solutions so that folks wouldn't have to be in those short-term hotels. He also said he would sign an executive order to slash red tape to ensure rapid reconstruction of roads and begin the work to either overhaul or terminate FEMA. Take a listen.
I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time. FEMA's turned out to be a disaster.
Now, when he gets to California, President Trump could be greeted on the tarmac by California Governor Gavin Newsom. The two have been going back and forth, you know, on social media. Newsom had invited Trump to come view the damage. As far as we've been talking with Governor Newsom's office, they hadn't heard back from Trump or the administration. They said to keep an eye on the governor's schedule today as to whether he was going to meet him on the tarmac. He also was talking about potentially flying over to Los Angeles with Democratic Senator Adam Schiff. And he said, quote, earlier today, he wasn't, quote, thrilled about him potentially joining him, but he did stay behind for votes here in D.C.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.